Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Finance with Avery. In this video, I want to talk to you about and show you the buys and sells that Bill Ackman did in the third quarter of 2023. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Bill Ackman, he is an activist investor, one of the few major, popular investors that I follow. I don't do everything he says or does, of course, everything, but I do like to see what he's buying and selling, and also what he's saying when he appears on CNBC and, different news outlets and the articles and things like that, because he's a very intelligent investor and definitely has a nice background, went to school at Harvard. He is the founder and chief executive officer of Pershing Capital Management, which is his hedge fund. And he has a net worth of around $3.6 billion. And Pershing Capital Management has around $18.5 billion of assets under management. So that's how much money they control in that hedge fund to do their buying and selling of stocks. And now this company only owns 8 stocks. And I'm going to go over those specifically towards the end of the video. But first, I want to get into the buys and sells of the third quarter that Bill Ackman did with his hedge fund right here. And Bill Ackman being an activist investor, basically that means you can kind of have a say-so in how companies operate. Carl Icahn right here is another activist investor that many have heard of. When you're an activist investor, you have a lot of input in the company because you have a lot of financial input in the company. So when you own a lot of the company and you're on the board of directors and everything like that, you can have a say-so in how things move, and sometimes are the reason why companies do certain things. And sometimes activist investors come in and they make the company better because they have outside experience and inside experience of what can help the company improve and do better with their financials. And something else that stands out about Bill Ackman in the past couple of years, he pretty much called the COVID bottom. And now I'm one of the people that, like some other investors, I like to buy stocks more so when the stock market is doing rough, during really rough times in the stock market where there's a lot of fear. I am of that assortment of investors that likes to increase buying in quality stocks, not just everything. You could almost buy almost anything towards the COVID bottom and made money, a few months after when stocks started shooting back up. However, I'm a little bit more selective still when I do that. But yeah, just like Warren Buffett says, be fearful when others are greedy and greedy when others are fearful. That's his famous quote, something like that. And I've done a video on. But yeah, and so Bill Ackman pretty much called the COVID bottom. I believe he's had a tweet that said something like "Hill is coming" or something like that, I believe. Yeah. And he made a lot of money off of that time in the market and everything. He says right here, $2.6 billion off of the coronavirus market crash, because there is opportunity when things are down a lot in the stock market. And that's one thing I think is kind of notable about Bill Ackman and made people kind of more aware of him, is how adamant he was during that market fall of COVID and everything, and how he kind of was out there ringing the bell, pretty much. And so yeah, Bill Ackman is one of the notable activist investors in the United States for sure. Now let's jump into what his buys and sells were in the third quarter of 2023. Like I stated towards the beginning of the video, he doesn't own a lot of stocks. Currently 8. At one time it was 6. Currently it's 8. So he had 3 buys and 1 sale in the last quarter. That Lowe's position looks like he reduced it about 5.39%, 402,000 shares. So a reduction of 5.39%. And so the price range when he sold in that quarter was between $206 a share up to $235 a share. So you see he sold 2.5 million shares of Lowe's in that previous quarter, which took it down to 7.4 million. So he went into this third quarter of 2023 with that amount, but then sold around 402,000, which took it down to about 7 million shares right there. So let's see what he done in the previous quarter. And then earlier in the year 2023, looks like he sold around 3.26% of his position in Lowe's. So he's been definitely reducing his position in Lowe's pretty substantially right there. Looking like he maybe, I don't know if he's going to get out of this position in total, or if he's just reallocating capital, or just, with this kind of reduction, this steady reduction right there, it is interesting to see. He still has a nice, position in Lowe's for sure. And with only owning 8 stocks, that is still a major position in the portfolio. I'll show you the graph of how it looks and everything here towards the end of the video. So yeah, has been slowly reducing his stake in Lowe's, pretty noticeable for sure. And like I stated at the beginning of the video, and when I say only owning 8 stocks, it's not saying, oh, that's just 8 stocks. When you own 8 stocks with this amount of capital, this amount of money, it's a lot of money being invested in these 8 stocks. It's a small, condensed, precise portfolio, which is, I definitely understand why people have portfolios like this, so they really understand and know what's going on with the companies. When you have a huge portfolio of individual stocks, it's hard to keep up with all that. You got to definitely have a team. He has a team at Pershing Capital for sure, of course, but you really, can get stretched thin and miss certain things with companies and things, and have, surprises kind of hit you, come out of nowhere that you were unfamiliar with because you were, having so much time researching this stock and that stock and this stock. But yeah, so has been reducing his position in Lowe's, which is definitely notable right there. And so as you see with Lowe's, yes, went up up part of this year and then had a really big decrease up from that 230 range down to underneath $200 right there. So this year about 2.9% up year to date. Past 6 months around that same amount, and for a whole year it's down about 4.78%. You zoom out from lows though, 5 years it's up over 100%, 119.68% up in the past 5 years, and lifetime of the stock up over 27,000%. So yeah, it definitely is a company that you zoom out and you see it does well. Recovered from 2020 right here. This is that time right here with the COVID pandemic, the coronavirus pandemic right here. And see how it's increased from there. Really went up high over there, almost over $250 a share. Came down some, but it's been holding pretty steady except for recently in this past month. Things were getting hit back there in October. And so now let's get on what he increased in his buys in 2023 of the third quarter. So he increased his position in Howard Hughes Holdings, which is a real estate management company. Looks like the stock was trading in a range of $73.34 up to $84.98. And with the Howard Hughes holding at about 1.43% to that position, and with an increase of around 236,000 shares, that took his position of Howard Hughes Holding, ticker symbol HHH, up to around 16.8 million. And then let's see in the previous quarter. And in the previous quarter, he added to his position in Howard Hughes Holding around 3.66%. So added about 585,000 shares, which took that total position up to about 16.5 million. And let's look at the previous quarter before that. Previous quarter before that added about 0.56% to his position, which took it up to about 15.9 million shares right there, added about 89,000 shares. So Bill Ackman has been adding to his position in the Howard Hughes Corporation right there, which is interesting. And slowly adding his position, sometimes small amounts, 0.56%, and then sometimes bigger amounts right there, more notable, 3.66%. And then recently right here in this recent quarter, 1.43%. So has been adding to his position in that Howard Hughes Holdings. Let's look at the stock price of this one, how this one has been doing. Because like I said, I'm not familiar with this one. Like many stocks, it's down this year, not drastically. It has made some ups and downs right here. Let's zoom out 5 years. 5 years, the stock is down about 32%. Lifetime of the company up around 96%. So this one has had some movements, probably definitely, of course, moves around with real estate and whatnot. But that is a real estate development and management company that he increased his position in slightly. And now another buy that Bill Ackman did with his hedge fund is that he increased his position in Hilton Worldwide Holdings. And Hilton, that's the hotel company, not just Hilton Hotels. They own various other properties and hotels as well, but that is ticker symbol HLT. And then with Hilton Worldwide Holdings, looking like he increased the position by 10.42%. So definitely a notable, sizable increase right there, added around 972,000 shares, which took his total position up to around 10.3 million shares. Let's see in the previous quarter what happened here. Before this recent quarter right here, he had increased his position by 0.36%, and in the quarter before that, he actually reduced his holdings. So in the first quarter of 2023, he reduced the holdings in Hilton Worldwide Holdings, but then he started back increasing. So he increased in that second quarter of 2023, and then increased again here in the third quarter of 2023. So that is interesting right there. And year to date, Hilton Worldwide Holdings is up around 31%. So it's handled the market pretty well this year, it looks like. For a whole year, it's up around 19%. Zoom out some more, 3 years, it's up over 56%. 5 year up over 126%. So this stock has been doing very well right here. Lifetime of the stock around 148%. So this is a major holdings of Bill Ackman right here. He's been adding to this position. And another buy that Bill Ackman did with Pershing Capital is he added to his position in Alphabet Google, ticker symbol GOOGL, also has a ticker symbol of GOOG. And I recently made a video of the top 3 stocks that I bought in October 2023, and Google Alphabet was definitely one of them. And it was a nice time to buy. I was buying in an area of around $120, and now it's up over $130. One of the magnificent 7 big tech stocks that have been leading the market higher, really driving the market higher this year in 2023. But a fantastic stock, fantastic company, great balance sheet. Check out that video if you want to know what I think about it. Just kind of an overview analysis, but I get pretty excited talking about Google Alphabet because it's just such a fantastic stock and company in general. And like I stated in that video, I want to make it in my top 10 position right there. It's my favorite stock that doesn't pay a dividend. And I talk about that some in that video. But yeah, so it looks like Bill Ackman likes this stock a lot as well. And the price range of this stock during that time right there looks like $116 a share up to around $138 a share. Looks like an average of $129 a share right there. Added to his, wow, look at this, folks. Bill Ackman increased his position in Google Alphabet 99.31%. So he bought around 2.1 million shares in Alphabet, which took his position up to 4.3 million shares right there. That is a substantial increase. Very much so. Look at that. Let's see what he done in the previous quarter here. Let's see, second quarter of 2023. He increased his position in Google Alphabet 16.2%. And it looks like in the second quarter of 2023, he added to his position in Alphabet, but at the ticker symbol GOOG. So it looks like he owns both of the stocks and Alphabet, ticker symbol GOOG and GOOGL. So he added to his position 16.2% to that one with a total share count of around 9.3 million. And oh yeah, this is back when he actually started his position in Google Alphabet towards the beginning of this year right here. So the first quarter of 2023, he initiated a position in Alphabet, ticker symbol GOOG, as well as GOOGL. So had a position in GOOGL of around 2.1 million shares, and then a position in GOOG of around 8 million shares. And since then, he's added to both of his positions in Alphabet, and very much substantially in this most recent quarter right here in ticker symbol GOOGL. Wow, look at that increase, folks. That's showing some confidence in that company for sure. And that's even during the run up. Like I stated, Alphabet has been doing nicely this year. Let's check them out here on the chart. GOOGL. This is the one we'll look at right here because this is the one he recently increased his position in. The difference between GOOGL and GOOG basically is that GOOGL is the one that has the voting rights basically with it. So it allows you to have voting shares with the stock position that you have in Google Alphabet. So this is the one we'll look at here. So year to date, Alphabet is up around 52%. For a whole year, around 36%. Zoom out some more, 3 years, up around 51%. See how it went up right here, took a dive, but just climbed right back up, strong right there. In 5 years, Alphabet stock is up around 161%. Lifetime of the stock up over 5,000%. As stated, this stock definitely is taking a dive right here, and it just went right back up. And you see how right there during the pandemic right there, it definitely went down, but pretty much gained right after that. It did a stock split, and I forget which year. I think it was 2022 or 2021. So it definitely did a stock split around this time, but it's definitely been doing nice. And stock split doesn't really make the stock go up. It's just, it can drive more buying into a stock, because if you do like a regular stock split, you'll get more shares for the amount of shares you own. Like you'll get 10 shares for every share you own, or however the company makes it out to be. So there's more outstanding shares on the market, but it's still the same valuation, everything for the company. It doesn't change the valuation of the financials for the company, but it can definitely change the volume that's going on in the stock buying and selling of a company. But yeah, so it is definitely a nice stock that's been doing well. And it is very interesting how much Bill Ackman has increased his position with Alphabet this previous quarter right there. Wow, that's impressive. So let's check out the portfolio here of Pershing Square Capital Management. As you see, Bill Ackman owns 8 stocks in this hedge fund right here. And pretty much, 2 of the stocks are the same stock basically. So you have GOOG and GOOGL, which are both Alphabet Google right here. So you can say 7 companies, 8 stocks is what he owns in this hedge fund. So you have CMG, which is Chipotle, nice size position in that. And this graph pretty much shows you the size of the position in relation to the portfolio as a whole. So nice position right there in Chipotle. And then you have QSR, which is Restaurant Brands. And I have this pulled up here because I didn't know exactly what all they owned, but Restaurant Brands owns like Tim Hortons, Burger King, Popeyes, and Firehouse Subs. And then you have HLT, which is that Hilton Holdings. And then you have Lowe's, ticker symbol LOW. And then you have ticker symbol HHH, that Howard Hughes Management, the real estate company that he increased his position on recently. And then you have CP, which I believe is Canadian Pacific. Let me see. I think that's the railroad, if it's Canadian Pacific. Yeah. So CP is Canadian Pacific. It's the railroad company right there. I just want to see how it's doing year to date. So it's down around 4%. Zoom out some. 3 years, 7.58%. 5 year up, 76%. That's nice. So yeah, it's kind of a steady in the past few years. I'm up and down, but it's been staying pretty steady right there. I was just interested in one stock I haven't really, paid much attention to. But yeah, so he has a nice size position in that. And then you have GOOG and GOOGL, so Alphabet right here. This is the whole positions of Bill Ackman and Pershing Square Capital Management. So overall, in the third quarter of 2023, Bill Ackman was a net buyer with more buys than sales and volume and stocks in general. So 3 stock buys with nice size positions and then 1 stock sale right there. That is it with the video of the buys and sales of Bill Ackman in the third quarter of 2023. Hope you all enjoyed the video. Take care.